my friends say, girl, you better take care.
Good evening. This is the Stella Community Club, and today we got a flaming discussion. As a lot of the other channels say, a bombshell of discussion. We know that the media has made a poet out of us, pulling us on a string and telling us what they want us to hear. And some are exposing that Trump's lead is slipping away. And did a little polling myself, looked up on CNN, and even they have to come out and tell you the truth, how people are changing. And they're looking towards Trump. His numbers and stuff are way up from what they used to be. And I was looking at CNN, like I said, and you just get a toehold on what they're saying. Just take a look at that. Yeah, let's just see if we can bring this up right quick. Let's get an idea of where his polling is.
Most Americans, though, still trust Republicans over Democrats on and handling some marry issues, some major issues, rather. CNN's Harry Anton. Marry depends on your perspective, I guess.
I am not married.
I said marry as in happy. Anyway, let's talk about this. What do you think?
Yeah, what are we seeing? You know, Donald Trump being underwater, Democrats, and all this guarantees us we're going to fly high in the midterms. Let me tell you, this guarantees you nothing, because at this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7. Immigration, Republicans by 13. How about crime, a big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans? Look at that, lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this: at this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball and running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's the Republicans who are running with the ball on the top issues: the economy, immigration, and crime.
Give some context on this. Compare this when Republicans last took the House.
Yeah, let's compare it back to 2022. I think this kind of gives away the game right here. Okay, the GOP is more trusted than the Dems on the economy. It was 12 points in 2022. Slight decline in that lead, but still 7 points. How about immigration? It was Republicans by 3 back in 2022. Look at this. The Republican lead's actually gone up by 10 points. What are you doing, Democrats? My goodness gracious. And on crime, the Republicans were up by 13, and now they're up by 22. The lead, again, expanding by nearly double digits. So whatever Democrats are doing, it ain't working, Kate. It ain't working. Republicans have the lead on all 3 issues.
What's the reason that you are finding so far that's driving this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about the center of the electorate, right? You win with independents, you win overall. And what do we see right here among independents? Republicans still have a point lead on the economy. They got a 10-point lead on immigration. They got a 21-point lead on crime. The bottom line is, when you look at these numbers, Democrats should call their offices, because at this particular point, even if Republicans, or even if the public doesn't like what Donald Trump is doing, they ain't necessarily liking what Democrats are doing. And it ain't just a referendum on one party. You actually have to go out and beat that party. At this particular point, Democrats are not able to beat Republicans. They still
and again, this isn't as Donald Trump came into office. These are numbers from this month.
These are numbers from September of 2025. We still find that the Republicans leading on all 3 of these issues. And of course, this economy will be the key. If Democrats are going to win, they're going to have to likely win on the economy. At this particular point among independents, you see that 1-point lead for Republicans. And overall, at least according to the Washington Post, they hold a 7-point lead on the economy overall as well.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Booyah! All righty. Somebody's not been giving us the truth on the polls, just like they did when it came to the voting polls saying Donald Trump was way behind. Like I said, even if you don't like him, it's the issues. And he went in with a certain agenda, and you got to give it to Bob. Donald Trump's holding his ground. And he's doing like the unpredictable left, saying this and not doing nothing. He's doing it. And that says a lot to me. Be hated, pushed aside, or just like he's got real quinanos. And he's standing up for what he believes. He's not going in and being swayed or changed or anything like that. He's holding his ground and he's giving the American public what they want. And he really is looking out for you. There's some things that are not going to go as a lot of us want. They might be changed overall, but he is working at it. And when you look at people like old watermelon head, shifty shift, just disgusts you in that. I call him hands-on guy. You know, you got to change and you got to bring things in and you got to make things work. You know, I'm Gavin Newsom and this is the way things go. Wow, woo! He ain't got no problem wiping his behind, do it. Woo, boy. But anyway, these are the things that are challenging. Even on the polls, they're lying about it. Everything is a lie. I got another small, you guys can take this for what it's worth, but this gentleman is giving some information on some things that he thought, not my terminology, but just sort of give you guys a abreast of what people are thinking and what they believe. Let's just take a look at this and see where we at here. Yeah, he's got some, I guess you can call it information. I like to get us pretty much in tune with a lot of things that are going on. Like I said, we here on the STEP Community Channel, we like to get our minds bubbling, working a little bit, instead of the same derogatory thing every day, and see what others are thinking and what they're working with. Because a lot of the news channels, eventually they keep giving you the same old news so much, you know, it's tiresome. It's tiresome. So, I don't know. Leave it in the comments what you think of this gentleman. You know what I'm saying? And how you feel about what he said. But let's take a rapture here and see what's going on.
Those are the rumors. But the whispers go deeper. Not just that Trump could be the last president, but that governments themselves may be dissolved. What comes after is already on the table. They call it post-nation governance. Systems we live in are being stress tested, and what comes next will feel wild, but it's already underway. Something doesn't add up. Governments around the world aren't just failing at random. It looks too orchestrated. Something doesn't add up. Governments around the world aren't just failing at random. It looks too orchestrated. And if that's the case, then this is dangerous info. I mean, look around. Energy grids collapsing, food systems stumbling, parliaments in constant deadlock. Leaders suddenly look incapable of solving even basic problems. That's not just bad luck. That's stagecraft. The elites are trying to abolish governments. The reason why governments around the world look incapable in the past few years, it's not random, not at all. Fact. In places like the World Economic Forum, the UN's development programs, and private think tanks, they are already talking about post-nation governance. A future where borders and politicians fade, replaced by algorithmic management. Smart cities run by code, resources distributed by digital overseers. AI not just assisting government, but being the government. Now, AI governance in itself isn't evil. It could mean fairness, efficiency, decisions made without human corruption, but only if it was neutral. Open code, public service, oversight by truth, not profit. But that's not what's being prepared. Right now, the servers belong to corporate giants. The algorithms are written by private labs. Oversight? Nobody. Which means the people would be trading flawed governments for something worse. A control system you can't vote out, can't question, can't even see. Fact, the EU has already passed laws for AI oversight boards. Fact, the UN's 2030 agenda speaks of automated monitoring of resources and populations. But defense departments are testing predictive governance models as we speak. The collapse of trust in governments isn't an accident, it's a setup. The replacement isn't democracy reborn, it's governance by machine, owned by the same few who hollowed out the old system. Everyone thinks the future is about innovation, AI, smart cities, green energy, but that's the cover story. The real future is about reducing the human surplus without a single bullet fired. And the system that is being built makes it look like progress. In the old world, humans were assets. More people meant more labor, more soldiers, more taxpayers. But technology flipped the equation. When automation does the work, people become liabilities. They consume resources and they produce nothing. From a corporate state perspective, they are dead weight on the balance sheet. Now, what happens to liabilities in a system? They are minimized, quietly, efficiently. You don't announce population reduction. You don't draft policies that say, time to eliminate 800 million people. You design the environment so people self-select out of life. First, you control food economics. Make real nutrition a luxury. Flood markets with synthetic hyper-processed calories. Why? Cheap to make, addictive to consume, and lethal over time. Obesity, diabetes, cancers. It's slow-motion euthanasia disguised as personal choice. And then you privatize survival systems. Hospitals, medicine, insurance. Turn health into a product, and when the bill comes and you can't pay, nature takes its course. No violence, no fingerprints. Meanwhile, you flood culture with distractions. War headlines, influencer drama, ideological cage matches, so no one notices the algorithm that decides who thrives and who quietly disappears. People think they are arguing politics, but in reality, they are debating inside the zoo enclosure, while the zookeeper holds the keys to their lifespan. This isn't genocide. It is market-driven selection, a corporate Darwinism where the unprofitable simply phase out. And the punchline, they don't kill you. They invoice you until you die. This is the most profitable extinction in human history. And it's happening in slow motion while everyone thinks they are free. If you want to see the future, don't look at science fiction. Look at the small experiments already happening today. Because the systems we live in are being stress tested. And what comes next will feel wild, but it's already underway. We are moving into a world where nations are not only divided by borders, but by information itself. China has the Great Firewall. Russia is building the RUNET. The EU speaks of digital sovereignty. Soon your passport won't just decide where you can travel physically. It will decide what you can know digitally. Whole populations will be sealed into national intranets, and inside those walls, communities will be isolated into algorithmic silos. You can already see it on social media today. What happens in one community never reaches another. And then comes the economy. Central bank digital currencies are already being piloted. Once programmable money replaces cash, every transaction can be limited by category, by location, and even by your carbon footprint. Rationing will not arrive at your door with soldiers. It will arrive with a line of code in your digital wallet. And at the same time, information itself becomes synthetic. Entire leaders or movements may be AI generated and indistinguishable from the real thing. AR and AI media will allow two people standing on the same street to see entirely different realities. One sees calm, the other sees chaos. And this isn't fantasy, it's already possible. And protest itself? Crowd control is shifting from patterns to behavior. Sound and frequency weapons exist today. Now extend that forward. Emotional dampening at scale. A city where outrage never ignites because the very environment suppresses anger. Punishment shifts from prison to digital exile. You're free to walk the street, but cut off from banking, ID, and transport. Social death replaces physical bars. This is the trajectory. A world digitally and physically fragmented, where communities cannot compare notes, economies run on programmable scarcity, and consensus reality itself is manufactured. None of this is speculation. Each piece is already being tested. The wild future is built one quiet pilot program at a time. So the question isn't whether the future is coming. The question is who writes the rules of it and whether we accept the cage because it looks like safety. Stay close. The next glimpse is already here. You look at the West and you think we are living the dream. But let me show you the truth with numbers. In Europe, the richest 10% own about 60% of everything. In the United States, the top 1% alone hold almost a third of all wealth. And the bottom half together, they own just 2%. Now look at Africa. The richest 1%, just 1 in 100, own about half of everything. In South Africa, the top 10% control more than 80% of the country's wealth. Do you see the pattern so far? It's not you against us. It's all of us beneath the same pyramid. Yes, there are differences. Here in the West, poverty is hidden behind clean streets and credit cards. People live in houses that belong to the banks, drive cars that belong to finance companies, and buy food on debt. I know it looks like comfort. It isn't, and it's actually control. In Africa, inequality is even more visible. The mansions of the few stand out against the struggles of the many. But the design is the same. A tiny elite holding everything while the majority carry the weight. We are actually more alike than you think. You are told that we are rich, but most of us are drowning in debt, stress, poison, food, and illusions, and we are told you are poor, but your lands are rich, your spirit is strong, and still the same sharks feed on you. So let's be clear. The problem is not that Africans lack or that Westerners have. The problem is that everywhere, the wealth of nations is captured by the few, while the many are told stories to keep them divided. So, you think we are your enemy? We were told you are ours. But the truth is actually simpler than that. We are all being lied to. And as long as we believe the lie, the pyramid stands. Right now, multiple regions are in open unrest. Nepal, France, Serbia, Mali, Iran. And they have different content, but the signal is the same. Societies have reached their breaking point. Human populations under stress follow a measurable cycle. First, adaptation. People absorb shortages, restrictions, and corruption. But when the perception shifts from temporary measures to permanent hardship, tolerance collapses. And that is the inflection point we are seeing. And once that threshold is crossed, protests emerge not as isolated events, but as collective declarations that the existing trajectory is no longer acceptable. At the same time, power structures are not passive. Crises can be exploited, accelerated, or even manufactured. In Nepal, the social media ban wasn't only a policy error. It was a trigger that activated a combustible population. In France, blockades are fueled not just by anger at government paralysis, but also by competing political forces who benefit from destabilization. In Mali, the junta's moves to dissolve parties are a calculated attempt to consolidate control, even at the cost of unrest. This is where geopolitics and human behavior converge. The grievances are real, but the ignition points are often managed. Leaders know that collapse can be functional. It resets the board, creates justification for emergency measures, and reshapes the rules of governance. Protest movements become both authentic expressions of discontent and instruments in larger strategic gains. So we are looking at the hybrid phenomenon. From the bottom up, populations reacting to the erosion of dignity and resources, and from the top down, systems that tolerate or even encourage disruption in order to pivot a new order. The central question is not whether protests are real or engineered, because they are both. The critical issue is who harnesses the energy once it erupts, and if captured by entrenched power, the cycle of control tightens, and if it remains with the people, the trajectory shifts.
Okay, basically, he's explaining how we were all lied to and how the rich, basically in a nutshell, the rich are getting richer and we're getting poorer. We're lied to, deceived, and nothing is happening. And they steadily are doing this while the small guy is falling short. You can leave a comment in there what you think about what this gentleman said, but I agree with a lot of the things that he's saying because there's no narrative as to what they're doing. And we aren't cared about one bit on either side. It's showing how there's 1%. I think we're the worst nation in all with of it. There's 1% that's the 1%ers, like the Nancy Pelosi, all this millions and millions of dollars that they're making. They didn't get that money legally, cheated for it. And they're cheating for it every day. And it leaves no loophole for us because we don't have the same objective or way to compensate ourselves for that. I mean, my goodness, everybody ought to be wanting to get into Congress. But they're not serving us. You get in there so you have loopholes to get through with trading, with collecting tax money. You said all the programs they got, just cash bundles that they hold. Here you got the Democrats now fussing $1 trillion or whatever it is they want right now, trying to persuade the president into giving them that money so they can fund their disorderly cash funds. People, it's not about us at all. And that's what I'm trying to get people to see. What are you fighting for? Why are you disturbing your lives and putting yourself out there like that over people that don't even care about America? They come over here burning flags, destroying everything. They're murdering. Oh my God, you're white. I'm black. These are our people. We were here first. We were united as a group. They're over here unvetted so they could commit a crime and leave. And we have no way of tracking them. No social security card, no bank account, no schooling, no nothing. Boom, you just gone, deceased. Had a big case, not going to mention where it was at. Had a foreigner, of course. If you do it right, I have no problem with it. But she was able to get 4 homes, rented them all out, made money off all of them. But somehow she was able to slip through the cracks on 4 homes, not make the mortgage payment for almost a year. Cash money rolling in. And we ain't talking no cheap rent. We're talking $1,700, $1,800, $2,100 on some of them. Every month, every day, year after year. You know who eats that? We do. Can't find her. There's a big article in the paper. Can't find her. Gone. You know where she gone? Back to her country. Not vetted. Nothing is there. And then they lean on us. We already had to pull the banks out of being belly up. But they consider that this person is a foreigner. Wow, they come over here with good credit because there's no record or nothing. They're the right color, right shade of color. Let's get them started. Let's give them a business, because it's all working together as one big choo-choo train. That one vote is worth a couple million today. They're going to teach you they're already over here wrong. They're upholding you and defending you lawfully because they are getting something out of it. Heck, they don't care. We give you $1,700 a month food. We'll give you a free phone. We'll give you cash-free rent. If your rent's due, we'll pay off the majority of it. Your rent's $1,200 a month. All you got to pay is $175. Most cases, some of them ain't paying nothing. But they got in all these nice hotels and stuff. They bought them with. Have they ever done that for you? What are y'all fighting for? What are you keeping the people here for? Think about it. People, wake up. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. You got these old people out there standing up with signs. It's wrong to kick people out of here and take them out of the country. Excuse me. Make it make sense to me. How in the world does this operate? You fighting, ready to get killed over these people, ready to get run over by a car when they have no respect for you. They come in and rape and rob you. You want to defund the police department. First person you call is 911, son, somebody help me. Then if you want to do that bad, they need to cut that from you. Guess what? You fighting for them and you all for them, burning up flags and stuff. Killing our people. Killing them. And you're fighting for that. 100% fighting for that. Free school programs. Our kids don't even get to go to school that much. They kicked out their kids go in. Teach them another language. I'm at odds with it because I'm trying my best. Y'all can comment, send in comments, help me understand it. For the ones that come over here legally, fine. I'm all for it. But pay your dues. They'll come over here free. And believe me, I'm paying mine. I paid them, and I paid them. I watched this go happen all the time. But now that Elon's got everything on X coming out up front, Trump's news media, everything's coming out up front, you know what I'm saying? And the world is starting to get a vast hold on how we've been lied, kicked, and like a can down the road. Or like a snowball rolling down a hill, it's just getting bigger and bigger. They don't care because all of them is something wrong. If y'all look at it, why is everybody, even Republicans, going there and get rich? And we're poor, we're starving. You got veterans that went and fought for this country, and you walk over them and spit on them and light them up with fire. And the whole thing don't make sense, and y'all fighting for them like it's your last bit of breath. Americans out there fighting for them, going up against ICE, going up against military, complaining that Trump blows a boat out of the water, loaded with stuff, drugs and stuff, fentanyl and all this stuff, heroin, who knows what else is on there that can destroy you. Even you commentators on the news, I forgot the old newsletter, I have to look it up and give it back to you because there's so much stuff flooding my brain. When J.D. Vance was talking to her about the Allegro group, I can't even call their names, that Trinidad Allegro group, whoever they are taking over hotels in Colorado. This crazy lady looks at him and goes, well, that's not totally true. They just took over a couple hotels. And Vice President Vance goes, do you hear yourself? You hear what you're saying? They just took over a couple hotels? They're not supposed to take over nothing. Condoning their wrong. Condoning their wrong. Venezuela's Allegro, I think it's another one that's out there. We'll get it down. But like I said, I just want to get this out. I'm human. I get frustrated about this whole thing because I'm using my common sense. And I'm all for Americans standing up for stuff. But what are we fighting for? These people coming over here, they're killing people. They're taking all your tax dollars, and you out there fighting for them. So you condoning their wrong. I mean, they swindling and taking kids over here, selling kids, slavery. Black people, I thought that's what we were fighting for all our lives, not to have slavery. But on the other hand, you condoning it. Make it make sense to me. And when it comes to your own race, you in cities and stuff, killing, shooting one another and stuff. But when it comes to them, you're protecting them. Why don't you protect your own neighborhood, your own sisters, your own brothers? But that's what's going on. And like this guy was talking, y'all please leave some comments on it and see how it puzzles your brain. And that's what we're trying to do here. Pick your brain a little bit. See where you stand. And sometimes it takes that good swift kick in the butt. Say, you know what, that makes sense. What am I fighting for? I want everybody to live. I like to have peace among everybody. But wrong is wrong, people. Right is right. Like I said, give me a few comments on this, and if I'm wrong about it, tell me. I'd like to hear why. I'm not understanding it. Maybe I'm not the smartest person on earth, but I try to be. Maybe I'm missing a few pointers, a few links here and there. Yeah, I'm a little bit insane upstairs, but let me know. And please like, share, subscribe. Let's go to the channel. My main objective is to grow the channel, monetize it, get it going, so we can give back. That is the main key on my mind. Giving back. As when it comes in, you get a report on what's coming in. It's not from my pocket. I figure if one person can step up and do that, instead of sitting here talking about, well, this person here should do that, this person here should do that. Well, I'm getting out here and I'm trying to do it. I can't do it without y'all. You know what I'm saying? If it's $1, $3, $4, it's going to be put up, and you'll be thanked over there. It will be put up. I'll give you a total after the show what we're doing. And that money is going to help people. The poor. And I'm talking about, yeah, you can give to a lot of charities, but a lot of times we'll find out good, real charities. I'll get with other YouTubers. We need to work together on that. Give one another praise, because it takes a lot of work, people, to sit here and get the material, to upload the videos and stuff, up to 2, 3 in the morning doing it. It takes a lot of work. This is people that are doing YouTube. A lot of them are doing it for money, but you don't get monetized overnight. They're working hard to get their material out there. And I don't want to get too serious where I'm beating you up with it, because we're the #1 podcast channel and we want to bring joy to you. But sometimes it gets so serious, you just gotta pull back and say, wow, man, this is crazy. And y'all aren't crazy. Y'all aren't trash like Biden said. You aren't fascist. You aren't stupid. You're not racist. And I'm sorry, Crockett, we don't need to be slapped upside the head like you said about boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? We don't need that. And if you're talking about slapping people upside the head, maybe you need to look at yourself. Always pushing violence. So, again, comment, and y'all will help me to understand. And I'm going to be pulling up a lot of stuff for you. And you're getting the same news, like I said, from everybody else. And they telling you what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening too. But they're not making you give it a quiz and think. It's the same drama. It's the same beating. It's the same talk. The same pushing down. We try to do it a little bit different. We love you guys. Like, share, subscribe, comment. And we will see you in the next one.